Everyone knows the modern face of Shiva, the destroyer, from movies and popular tales. But what do the texts that haven't been read for millennia actually say? Today, we set aside fiction and question the primary sources directly to discover who the Lord of Animals truly was before myth became legend.
Episode 1. Rudra in the Rig Veda. The origin of terror and healing. The paradox of the archer god. In an era when language itself was an act of cosmic creation, amidst the mists of 1500 BCE, the rishis of the Rig Veda perceived a force that defied all human logic. He was not merely a storm god, nor a simple hunter. He was Rudra. But why do humanity's first hymns invoke a god with such desperate urgency, calling him simultaneously the most terrible and the supreme healer? There is an ontological secret behind his arrows that bring death. They are not mere darts, but manifestations of a primordial state of consciousness that precedes the distinction between good and evil. Before we can understand his grace, we must face the pure terror of his presence. Listen now to the authentic voice of the rishis, who use no metaphors but describe the raw reality of a power that admits no compromise. Rig Veda 1:43, 1-6. Primary text. What can we say to Rudra, the wise, the most generous, the strongest, that would be most pleasing to his heart? So that Aditi may grant her grace to our herds, to our men, to our boys, and to our progeny. So that Soma may be propitious to us, and Rudra may grant us his benevolence. We invoke him with homage. We invoke Rudra, who possesses the keen mind, who performs the sacrifices, the healer who possesses the remedies. He, shining like the sun, the most brilliant of the gods, the Lord of prayers, be propitious to our paths. He who grants prosperity, who wards off evil, the God who possesses supreme wisdom, may he not strike us with his wrath. Here, the text does not speak of physical protection, but of ontological stability. Rudra's keen mind is the capacity to discern order from chaos. When the supplicants ask not to be struck by his wrath, they are invoking the stability of Dharma against the unpredictability of the Rudra-tattva. But beware, Rudra's protection comes at a price. What is the link between his braided hair and the fate of living beings? The answer lies in the next fragment, where His Majesty becomes a visible threat. The father of storms and the mystery of the MARUTS. If Rudra is the protector, why is he surrounded by the MARUTS, the storm deities who level forests? This is the first great cliffhanger of Vedic theology. The MARUTS are his sons, his dynamic extensions. To understand Rudra is to understand that destruction is the necessary breath of creation. It is not a poetic metaphor to say he is shining. It is the description of the state of Tejas, the radiant energy that burns away impurity. But what happens when this light becomes unbearable to the human eye? The Rig Veda warns us, his wrath is not a human emotion, it is a law of nature. Rig Veda 1:114, 1-5. Primary text. 1. We bring these prayers to Rudra, the Lord of men, he of the braided hair, so that there may be prosperity for bipeds and quadrupeds, and everything in this village may be nourished and free from disease. 2. Be propitious to us, O Rudra. Grant us joy. We honor you with homage, O Lord of men.
Whatever happiness Father Manu obtained through sacrifices, may we reach it under your guidance. 3. May we obtain your grace, O God who are the Lord of men, be benevolent toward us. Come to our villages with benevolence, O Rudra, and keep our men free from disease. 4. We invoke for our aid the radiant Rudra, he who performs the sacrifices, the wise. May he ward off from us the wrath of the gods. We seek only his benevolence. 5. O Rudra, who are the Lord of hymns, the Lord of sacrifices, the healer, come to us. Do not kill our great ones. Do not kill our small ones. Do not kill our fathers. Do not kill our mothers.
Rudra's darts represent the penetration of divine consciousness into matter. Sovereignty over the animal world does not just concern the beasts of the forest, but the primordial instincts of man. Rudra is the lord of that which is untamed. But here is the turning point. How can such a destructive god be called the physician of the gods? There is a meditative technique, a secret of healing that only those who have faced his wrath can know. Prepare to discover the face of the supreme healer. The physician of the gods and the 1,000 remedies.
We have reached the heart of the paradox. In RV 2.33, Rudra undergoes an ontological transmutation. He who hurled lightning now holds thousands of remedies in his hand. But these are not herbs or potions. Rudra's healing is the restoration of cosmic order through primordial sound, the nada. When the text describes him with golden skin, it indicates the attainment of the state of turiya, the fourth dimension of consciousness where suffering vanishes. But how can a lion be compassionate? It is here that the tension between his strength and his grace reaches its peak. If he is the greatest of healers, why do we continue to fear him?
Rig Veda 2.33, 1-4. Primary text. 1. O Father of the MARUTS, may your benevolence come to us. Do not deprive us of the sight of the sun. May the God be propitious to our progeny. May we multiply with sons. 2. By means of the most salutary remedies granted by you, O Rudra, may I reach 100 years. Ward off from us hatred. Ward off anguish. Ward off diseases in every direction. 3. You are the most glorious of all that exists, O Rudra, the strongest of the strong, the wielder of the lightning bolt. Lead us safely to the other shore of suffering. Ward off from us every attack of evil. 4. Do not be angry with us, O Rudra, for our homages, nor for our poor praises, O Bull, nor for our common invocations. Raise our men with your remedies. You are the best physician among physicians. Rudra's omniscience is the key. He knows the root of every disease because he himself is the force that generates it to purify the soul. The lightning bolt he carries is no longer an instrument of death, but the surgical scalpel of divinity. But do not be deceived by his golden skin. Rudra is about to leave behind the sacrificial altars to retreat where no man dares to go, into the wild forests and on to the frozen peaks. What will he find there? And why will this retreat forever change the fate of humanity?
Pasupati, the lord of beasts and mountains.
Rudra abandons civilization. He becomes Pasupati. But do not think of a benevolent shepherd. The lord of beasts is he who dominates ontological ferocity. The The mountains and forests are not just geographical locations, they are the spaces of the mind where reason has no power. Here, Rudra meets his true wild nature. Why would a god prefer the company of beasts to that of men? Perhaps because beasts do not lie. They have no ego. In this state of absolute isolation, Rudra prepares his final transformation. But beware, anyone who attempts to follow him into these forests without proper preparation risks meeting his fearsome wrath. Pasupati's grace is a dangerous gift.
Rig Veda 7:46, 1-4, primary text. 1. Offer these prayers to Rudra, he who has the strong bow and swift arrows, the god who moves alone, the invincible, he who strikes, who possesses the sharp remedies. 2. He, through his sovereignty, knows all that is born on earth. Through his power, he governs all that is in heaven. Come to our villages with benevolence, O Rudra. Be propitious to our men and our animals. 3. May your dart that descends from heaven avoid us, O Rudra. May your wrath avoid us. Do not strike our children. Do not strike our men. Be propitious to us, O God, who are the Lord of the mountains. 4. O Rudra, who are the Lord of the mountains, we invoke you with homage. Be benevolent toward us. Ward off from us every evil, and grant us your supreme protection.
Wildlife is the state of Prakriti not yet ordered. Rudra Pasupati is the pivot around which this raw energy revolves. He does not tame it, he embodies it. The tension here is between the human desire for protection and the reality of a god who does not belong to the world of men. But just when we think we have understood Rudra as a god of nature, the algorithm of history leads us toward an even more shocking evolution. What will happen when Rudra is no longer just one god among many, but becomes the one?
Critical apparatus and episode conclusion. We have traversed the first hymns of the Rig Veda, witnessing the birth of an entity that accepts no definitions. Rudra is the archer, the healer, the father, and the wild one. But this is only the beginning. In the next episode, we will see how this primordial force begins to permeate every atom of the universe, transforming from a storm god into the Lord of all. But before we leave you, reflect. If Rudra is in every remedy and in every dart, where is he at this moment in your life? The answer awaits you in the Yajur Veda.
Critical apparatus. For maximum informational density, let us analyze the sources of this episode. The Rig Veda, composed between 1500 and 1200 BCE, represents the philological basis of every subsequent evolution. Key terms such as Kapardin, of the braided hair, and Pasupati, Lord of Beasts, are not random epithets, but indicators of precise cosmic functions. Scholars agree that Rudra's duality is the reflection of an ontological reality where destruction is a precondition for healing. References: 1. Anonymous, Rig Veda, composed between 1500 and 1200 BCE.
If this content pleased you, I invite you to like it, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss the next videos. Your support truly encourages me to keep creating content like this.